Welcome to Hotline TV. I'm Tim Saad.
And I'm John Mercurio. Today we're looking at House races in the 2008 election. But first, let's take a look at the numbers in the Diageo Hotline tracking poll. The latest one coming out today. John McCain at 43%. Barack Obama at 48%. Basically unchanged from yesterday. All right. Not too much change. All right. Yep. But now back to the House. Tim Saad has joined us today to talk about the ever-changing landscape for the House, the battle for the House. The NRCC announced just yesterday that they're pulling advertising support from a handful of Republican House candidates in very competitive districts. Let's discuss a few of them.
Yes. The first one, Tom Feeney's district, which everyone knows he has this sort of Jack Abramoff sort of cloud hanging over him. Nothing has ever really come of it, but his first TV ad, he went on the air defending his rookie mistake for going over to Scotland and playing golf with Jack Abramoff, and we all have those mistakes.
I've made that rookie mistake many times.
We've all been there. So that showed a sign of a bit of desperation on his part. Polling came out a couple weeks ago showing that a 24-point race. His Democratic opponent up over 55%, and he's sitting at 32.
Wow.
The handwriting's been on the wall for a long time. This race is going. Republicans, realizing that, had begun airing TV ads, or they just pulled their TV ads.
So he's out. All right. So he's
that race is gone.
That race is gone. Tom Feeney, bye-bye. See you later.
That's right.
But let's talk about a couple of the other ones, too. You got Colorado.
And then you have Marilyn Musgrave, another one who's she hasn't been ahead in many recent polls. She's sitting at that dangerous low 40s against her very good Democratic opponent. Marilyn Musgrave has thrown some controversial TV ads out, sort of thrown stuff up against Betsy Markey, who's the Democrat.
Right.
And some of the things have stuck, but I don't think the consensus hasn't been enough. There hasn't been any recent polls out.
Right.
Again, Republicans pulled the cord, and in a state that's trending towards Barack Obama.
I think sort of ironically for a Colorado Republican, they're being swept out by a national trend.
That's right.
That's working against them in the state.
Right there. And then, of course, the biggest one, the one that has made the most news recently, Michelle Bachmann, since she said she had never watched Hardball before she went on, which I find that hard to believe because she seems ubiquitous.
She's tailor-made for Hardball, for God's sake.
She is, and she's a ubiquitous presence.
Big friend of the show, always has been.
Yep. She's a ubiquitous presence on cable everywhere. So NRCC decided yesterday or Tuesday to pull time out of her district. They reserved time on starting next week, so they hadn't started already.
Does this automatically assume you're talking about 3 members here, there's others of course, but Feeney, Musgrave, and Bachmann, does this, by their decision to pull out, does the NRCC essentially guarantee that these people are going to lose?
In those first 2 cases, polling says yes, these guys are going to lose, and it was a smart decision. In this third case, Michelle Bachmann's not looking great right now, and she's even money to win or lose. She might even be the Democrat Elwyn Tinklenberg.
Great name.
May have the edge, and he certainly raised. He made $1.3 million since she made those controversial remarks on Friday.
Right.
But she has $1 million of her own ready to go up on the air.
And I got to imagine she's also generating her own fundraising drive among people on the right, people who agree with her. I mean,
she certainly is.
She did make sort of outrageous statements. She's apologized for them. But on the other hand, look, there are people out there who agree with the statement she made and are probably out there with their checkbooks as well.
And she's just started a fundraising campaign with that same message. Republicans that are upset with the NRCC's independent expenditure arm pulling money out or raising money for her.
Right.
This could be, it won't be a wash. Elwyn Tinklenberg has the 1.3 plus the $1 million from the DCCC. He's going to have, this is just going to be wall to wall up there, TV ads against Michelle Bachmann, against Elwyn Tinklenberg. It's going to be ugly. Can she survive? It's a Republican-leaning district. She possibly could. This doesn't mean the death knell for her.
Well, not just a Republican-leaning. I mean, it's actually a pretty strongly Republican district, isn't it?
Yes, it's 54, 55% President Bush-leaning district.
Okay, in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, which is pretty strong. Exactly.
Good stuff, Tim Saad. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
But now for my favorite new segment, a quickie with Quinn, an update on the Senate 2008 landscape. Quinn?
2 questions have occurred to me as I look at today's senatorial news. The first is, what is going on in Colorado? There are reports that the DSCC is so confident of winning that seat that they have pulled out of the state, and yet the NRC is up with a new ad today that is blasting Mark Udall as being too far to the left. We'll see what happens there. My other question is, will the prospect of a filibuster-proof majority be a net negative or positive for Democrats this fall? In North Carolina, the NRC has a new TV ad up that is warning that the election of Kay Hagan will be a blank check for Democrats in the Senate. And yet, at the same time, Al Franken has a new TV ad up in Minnesota featuring Hillary Clinton saying we need Al Franken to produce a 60-seat filibuster-proof majority to end the gridlock. One of the questions we'll be asking and looking at as more races develop in the Senate.
All right, that's all for today. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Tim Side. We'll see you next time.